police in Antioch, California, may have found evidence at the home of Phillip Garrido, the man accused of holding J.C. Dugard captive for 18 years. They're searching for clues in the disappearance of two other young girls in the late 80s, and police say search dogs have zeroed in on a spot in Garrido's property. Our Brian Rooney has the details.
Investigators brought in 6 cadaver-sniffing dogs, and 2 of them hit on the same patch of dirt in Phillip Garrido's property.
The first dog, by their description, was very tentative on its indication. The second dog was more direct and indicating very quickly.
So far, they've used bulldozers, chainsaws, ground-penetrating radar, even searched on hands and knees. They've hauled away truckloads of junk and debris while also searching the inside of Garrido's home. But they are likely to start digging where the dogs may have smelled something.
It's an open ground area. We're going to run the X-ray equipment over it, and we will eventually be digging in that location.
They're looking for any sign that Garrido kidnapped 9-year-old Michaela Garrett of Hayward, California in 1988 and 13-year-old Eileen Micheloff of Dublin, California in 1989. Police see similarities between those cases and the abduction of J.C. Dugard, who eventually spent 18 years in captivity and had 2 daughters with her accused kidnapper, Garrido. Photos taken by the county building department show how much junk and debris Garrido collected. The mother of one missing girl says it may actually be helpful.
The investigators have told me that Phillip Garrido was a hoarder, so that gives them some hope that if he had ever had anything that belonged to Michaela, that it might still be there.
The search continues today, and investigators say they're keeping in mind the possibility that evidence they collect here could be linked to the cases of other missing children. For Good Morning America, Brian Rooney, ABC News, Antioch, California.
Now, when 9-year-old Michaela Garrecht was kidnapped in November of 1988, her best friend was with her and witnessed the whole thing. That friend is Katrina Rodriguez, and she's joining us this morning in a GMA exclusive. Katrina, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
When you heard about J.C. Dugard, and more importantly, when you saw the picture of her next to Michaela, what did you think?
I couldn't help but think that she looked remarkably like Michaela. In fact, I put Michaela kind of in her shoes and imagined that it was Michaela, and brought back all these feelings of just excitement, a little bit of guilt, sadness.
Almost 21 years later, but the memory of you as a 9-year-old girl in that parking lot with your friend is fresh. You remember what happened.
Yes.
You came out of the store. You were looking for your scooters, just like any 9-year-olds out there having fun. What happened when you turned to find your scooters?
Michaela discovered first that one of them was missing, and we kind of split up to look for them. And she let me know that she had found it. And so as I bent down to pick up the other scooter, I heard screaming, and I looked up. I saw her being picked up by a man and shoved into the car that he was driving. And it all happened very quickly, but in my mind it took 10 minutes. It was just so slow motion. But he pulled out of his parking spot, pulled out of the parking lot, and by the time he got to the street, I had unfrozen and decided to run in and tell somebody what was happening, and that's when the clerk called 911.
2 things stayed with you. That car, the car you saw them get in, the car you saw him drive, stop at a stop sign. When you heard about the car that took J.C. Dugard, it was a light bulb for you.
Yes, I saw a sketch of the car that was used in her kidnapping. I saw that on the news, and I called Michaela's mother and said, "Oh my goodness, have you seen this? Have we considered him as a suspect, because the car looks so similar to Michaela's kidnapper's car. The shape is remarkably like it in my memory." And since then, I've seen photographs, actual video footage of the car being pulled away, and still I think the shape of the car looks a lot like the Michaela's kidnapper's car.
The car and the look in his eyes, you say you won't forget the look that he gave you that day, the man who took your friend. What do you see in Phil Garrido's eyes?
I see that same intensity, that creepy look that I don't think I'll ever forget.
It's difficult, right? Because you want answers, you want to know what happened to your friend, but what do your head and your heart tell you about whether or not this man could be the same man you saw that day so many years ago?
That's a tough one. I want closure so badly that I would love for it to be him. I am certain that he should be looked at as a suspect because of my reaction to his photo and all of the other similarities in the cases, but at this time I can't say for certain that he kidnapped her.
But you remember that car, you remember that look,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you remember this whole thing. It was 20 years ago, but to you, it's not the same 20 years that it would be for anybody else.
No, it's been difficult at times, but I'm thankful that I've had the life I have had and the normalcy that I have had. I was able to go to college, have children, get married, and that's something Michaela probably hasn't had.
Well, appreciating the life we have is a gift, no matter how it comes to us. Katrina, I hope you get your answers, and I thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you.